Hi everyone! I wanted to share my cinnamon roll recipe that I came up with this week. I did have quite a few people on Connect that wanted to know the recipe, so I thought I'd make a video on it. So the cinnamon rolls themselves are made with the 2-ingredient dough. So if you are a WW member, then you probably are familiar with this recipe. If not, or if you're not a WW member, this is a recipe for a dough it's pretty versatile. You can use it. I make pizzas with it every Friday. You can make panzerottis. Actually, the other YouTube channel that I follow, WW Gays, they just made pizza bites, which would be good for parties. So those I'm definitely going to try. And then cinnamon rolls I found, and also bagels. Bagels are a huge thing that I see on Connect of everybody making. So you can use this dough for quite a few different recipes. So play around with it, see what you'd like to make with it. Dinner rolls, anything that you can think of that's made with dough, really, you could use this for. So, but today I'm doing cinnamon rolls. So for the dough itself, the recipe is self-rising flour dough and Greek yogurt. So for the self-rising flour dough, I don't keep it stocked in my kitchen, but you can make it yourself with, so it's 1 cup of flour. I use all-purpose flour. I have not tried this with whole wheat. If you prefer whole wheat, you can try it. If anybody has tried it with whole wheat and it's turned out fine, by all means put a comment below and let me know. I still have not tried it. And then for the self-rising, you need to add baking powder, which is 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So that is what makes the self-rising flour dough. So if you don't have self-rising flour dough at home, you can use items that you already have in your kitchen. So salt, baking powder, and flour. So 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So that is for the flour. And then to that mixture, you're going to add 1 cup of fat-free 0% plain Greek yogurt. I'll show you the container that I use in a second. I use the Liberty. There are quite a few that you can use. I believe President's Choice has one, Oikos, but I prefer the Liberty. And then you just mix this all together, and this is what turns into the dough. If you do find that it's not forming a good ball, like a dough ball, just add a tablespoon of water at a time. And then it does slowly form a ball, but it's so simple. And to be able to make bread or bagels, cinnamon rolls, pizza dough, panzerottis, we've now made this into our pizza nights now every Friday. So we use this dough for the pizzas, and this one recipe, we get two personal pizzas out of this. Which, I mean, if you don't want a thick crust, they are quite a good size pizza. Now, the dough by itself for this entire recipe is 13 points for this whole entire recipe. So if you split that in half, if you're making pizza with it, your dough would be 7 points if you're splitting it in half and making it into 2. So this is not forming a ball like I want it to, so I'm just going to add a tablespoon of water to it. And you can give or take to see how much you may need just to kind of get it to form a little bit better. You can mix this with a mixer if you wanted to, but as you see it mixes up very fast. So, and there we go. And there. So it's formed a ball. So that is your dough. And like I said, you can use this for quite a few different recipes. So you just want to take this out and sprinkle a little bit of flour on your counter or surface that you're working on, just so it doesn't stick, because with the yogurt it does tend to be a little bit sticky, and I do just put a bit on mine. And then just knead it like you would a regular dough. Now this can get messy because it is really sticky, so try to keep your hands and your rolling pin floured so that it's not sticking all over your hands. And you're just going to roll this out into a big square, or as close to a square as you can. My rolling skills aren't critiqued yet, so we will see as best as a square as we can get. And now this, because we're doing these into cinnamon rolls, I was able to divide it into 10 portions. So we will get as close as we can. If you can get more, then that's great. If you divide it into 10 portions for the cinnamon rolls, it works out to be 2 points per cinnamon roll. Now you can do this into halves and do it into 2 different rolls, but I'm just going to try and do a big square and then see how many portions we get out of it. So as best as you can to roll this out into a square. And as you can see, it only takes minutes to make this into the dough. Like it's very fast. Why wait overnight and hours for your bread to rise when you can make this dough in literally seconds? Another person on Connect actually told me that they made empanadas with this. I have not tried that recipe. I actually have never tried an empanada, so maybe I'll give them a try and see how they are. So we're just about as big as we can go. This will start splitting if it does get too thin, so you don't want to get too thin when you're rolling this out. And you also don't want to leave too much flour on it, because it does stick on top of the dough when you bake it, especially when you're doing the pizzas. Now I do bake this in the oven. Again, my oven is a little hotter, so I tend to put it to 375 for these. And I bake these roughly 15-20 minutes. Just watch until they get golden brown. Just give my hands a quick wash here. So now what you want to do is you want to top it with your cinnamon topping, which would be the middle of your cinnamon rolls. I'll just show you the... So I've rolled it out to a square. Hopefully you can see everything. And now you just want to mix 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and I'm using brown sugar blend Splenda. You can use regular brown sugar if you want as well, whatever you'd prefer. And I'm going to be putting in 2 teaspoons of the brown sugar. And just mix that together. And then you just want to top this on top of your dough. Make sure all your clumps of the brown sugar are broken up, just so it's a fine powder to go over top of it. Okay, and you're going to sprinkle this all over the top, making sure to get it kind of as evenly distributed as you can. And you can kind of play with it afterwards just so that it is completely spread out. Okay. Here we go. Now the next thing what you're going to do is you are going to just get a bit of flour on your hands so your hands don't stick. And you're going to roll it up just like a cinnamon roll, as best as you can. There we go. So now you want to be able to get it into 10 portions. If you can get it more, then by all means, try and get it into more. But this is where you can kind of stretch it a little bit longer if you wanted to, just to see how much you can get out of it. Okay, and then you just cut it into slices. I'll just mark mine first. There we go. I got 11 out of it. Even better. So then you just want to cut it into the pieces. And like I said, for WW members, this is 2 points per cinnamon roll. And you're going to bake it at 375 for 15 to 20 minutes, give or take, depending on how hot your oven is. And you just want them to be golden brown. So now I've just sprayed my muffin tin with some Pam oil, some Pam olive oil, and you're just going to sit these right in here on their sides. I have seen actually floating around on Facebook, probably closer over Christmas I saw it, was a recipe for a pie shell that was made out of cinnamon rolls. So this is actually another option that you could do. Keep in mind the entire thing was 13 points. I believe you could get an entire pie shell probably out of half of it, but with doing the cinnamon rolls, you would probably need the whole thing because you do layer them. So what you would do in that case is you would do this, lay them all out into a pie shell, and then bake it like that. But these do rise, so it would be quite high. But I don't know, maybe that might be another recipe. I might give it a try and see how it works out. So now I just give them a slight spray on top of your pan, just so that they'll brown a bit better. Need some more Pam. And that is that. Just pop those in the oven at 375 for 15 to 20 minutes. I'll be back and I'll be able to show you what they look like once they come out. Oh, and the yogurt that I use is this one here. So it has to be the 0% plain Greek yogurt. And it's 1 cup that you use out of that. So I will pop these in the oven now, and I will show you how they look once they come out of the oven. Hey everyone, we're back, and the cinnamon rolls are done. They are out of the oven. So I baked them for 17 minutes. See, they're just golden. So again, these cinnamon rolls are 2 points, and I'm working on a cream cheese icing recipe, but if you didn't want to add points, you can also top it with a tablespoon of light Cool Whip. And 1 tablespoon of light Cool Whip is 0 points. For light Cool Whip, you can actually have 3 tablespoons for 1 point. So if you do 3 tablespoons or 2, it works out to being 1 point. If you have 1 tablespoon, it's 0 points. So 1 tablespoon of light Cool Whip and the cinnamon bun is 2 points. So it's a good dessert or a snack if you're feeling like something sweet. But yeah, that is my cinnamon bun. Thank you for watching. If you did like this recipe and the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. And if you would like to be notified of any new videos coming out, by all means hit the bell button and you will be notified of when I am sharing new videos. If you are on Connect, my handle is Stitchin' Lindy, STITCHNLINDY. And yeah, by all means, give it a try. Let me know what you think. Comment below and let me know if there's any other recipes you'd like me to try, or any ideas, any comments, suggestions. And hopefully you like the cinnamon recipe. Thank you.